Donald Trump is voicing his confidence in what many consider a U.S. enemy, at the same time breaking with an ally on the world stage. Trump is in Japan on a 4-day state visit, and this morning brushing aside North Korea's latest missile tests.
I am very happy with the way it's going, and intelligent people agree with me.
You're not bothered at all by the small missiles?
No, I'm not. I am personally not.
So there was Trump speaking in Tokyo this morning, taking questions alongside his host, Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, as I said, as part of this 4-day state visit. Let's go to Evan Dyer, who's working out of our Washington bureau right now. And certainly the two, Donald Trump getting a lot of one-on-one time with Japan's Prime Minister, Evan. They've been golfing, we know. Trump watched some sumo wrestling. Understand there was some trade talk as well. What is Shinzo Abe hoping to get out of all of this?
Well, there are really two fronts that are of immediate concern for the Japanese, and those are trade with the United States, which is under threat from the Trump administration, and North Korea, which has been a threat to Japan for many years, and only more so in recent years as it's become a nuclear power. So on the trade front, you could say Japan probably did achieve some of its goals with this visit. The main threat hanging over Japan is tariffs on its cars and car parts. And it was granted a 180-day extension just before this trip, probably related to the fact that this trip was happening. So that's 6 months more for them to try to change President Trump's mind, although no guarantee that will happen. He did also tweet while he was in Japan that he's not expecting concessions from them on agricultural tariffs, Japanese agricultural tariffs on U.S. agricultural imports, until the Japanese legislative elections are over. So those are in July. It's not really a very long reprieve for the country, but it's an important political favor for Shinzo Abe personally, because those are going to be unpopular concessions that Japan will likely end up making on that front. But on the North Korea front, I think you would have to say that this trip has been a wash from the Japanese point of view. We've seen Donald Trump refuse to give any help on the nuclear front, and also there was a secondary request from the Japanese about Japanese hostages abducted from Japan by North Korea, right off the beaches of Japan by North Korean submarines through the 70s and 80s. Japan's been trying to find out what happened to them, but President Trump appears willing to take the word of Kim Jong-un that they're all dead and no answers can be provided, much as he was with the U.S. citizen who died in North Korean custody or came home in a coma and died subsequently, Otto Warmbier.
Evan, as you listen to some of the things that Donald Trump is saying, he appears to be at odds not just with the Japanese, but even with some of his own key administration officials as far as those tests go. Sort that all out for us.
That's right. He's at odds with his national security advisor, who condemned these tests in very forceful terms. He obviously also not on the same page as the Japanese, not really even, you could say, Heather, on the same page as himself 3 months ago. In fact, it's worth going back to the Hanoi meeting with Kim Jong-un to look at how he described the promises Kim made to him back then. That's 3 months ago today. Let's watch a clip of that.
There's no more testing. And one of the things, importantly, that Chairman Kim promised me last night is, regardless, he's not going to do testing of rockets and nuclear, not going to do testing. So, I trust him, and I take him at his word.
So no testing of rockets. I trust him. Let's watch what he said yesterday.
My people think it could have been a violation, as you know. I view it differently. I view it as a man, perhaps he wants to get attention, and perhaps not. Who knows? It doesn't matter. All I know is that there have been no nuclear tests. There have been no ballistic missiles going out. There have been no...
So that's incorrect, because, of course, the tests were Iskander-type ballistic missiles, in fact, nuclear-capable ballistic missiles that were fired on May 4th and May 9th. Probably not capable in this particular case of hitting the coast of Japan, certainly, though, threatening all of the South Korean peninsula. And Trump essentially saying, as long as you don't test intercontinental missiles that can hit the U.S., it is sort of okay, it seems, to fire missiles in the area of Japan and South Korea. Definitely not the message that his Japanese host would have wanted to hear.
Definitely not. Thank you very much, Evan. Appreciate that. Evan Dyer, who's in Washington for us today.